my name is Chris at HouseIt. I'm the co-founder here at HouseIt, and in today's video, we're going to talk about an interesting topic that many New Yorkers often ask us, and it's why is it more advantageous to be a buyer here in Florida versus in New York? And the answer to that all comes down to the offer process. You see, here in Florida, whether you're in Miami, Palm Beach, Broward, when you submit an offer as a buyer, you actually submit an offer via a signed contract, the standard Florida realtor contract. And if the seller decides to, quote unquote, accept your offer, they simply countersign it. And once that happens, the seller is locked in per the standard realtor contract terms for the inspection period. And that inspection period language is, fill in the blank, it's standard. If you leave the number of days for the inspection period blank, then it defaults to, I believe, either 10 or 15. Most realtors put in 10 or 15, just to make it clear. But what that means is, once that seller decides to accept your offer by signing or countersigning the contract, they automatically become locked in for that inspection period, say 15 days. And during that 15 days, they can't accept another offer, meaning they can't countersign another contract. Basically, they can't shop your offer. Meanwhile, as the buyer in Florida, during this inspection period, you are free to do your due diligence without fear of being shopped, without fear of getting it sold from under you. Plus, you can cancel for essentially any reason during the inspection period. Let's say that you have a home inspection or you take a look at the building financials and there's something you don't like that comes up. Well, you can simply cancel and get your money back from escrow. So that actually is a tremendous advantage, because as the buyer, you're putting up time and resources, for example, to order a home inspection, but it's not going to be for naught unless you want to cancel. You contrast this to the process in New York, where a buyer submits a offer through the buyer's agent, often through email with general terms. If the seller or listing agent accepts the offer and they send around a deal sheet, basically a transaction summary, then you have an accepted offer. But that accepted offer in New York is completely non-binding. In fact, it's simply a handshake agreement to allow the buying party to begin the due diligence process. So typically, once you have an accepted offer in New York, the buyer's attorney, this is another caveat or nuance, New York requires attorneys for both the buyer and the seller. So in this case, the buyer's attorney will then start, reviewing the contract, negotiating the contract with the seller's attorney. The buyer's attorney will review the board meeting minutes, co-op or condo building financial statements, offering plan. They may do a co-op lien search, do an attorney questionnaire, do a regular search. If it's a house or townhouse, they may order a survey. But essentially, all of these things are being done. The buyer is spending time, effort, oftentimes money, maybe a home inspection as well. But all of this is done during the sort of due diligence process after an offer is accepted. But the problem is, it's not binding on the seller. So think about it this way. The buyer spends all of this money and hassle doing due diligence, they negotiate the contract, and they sign the contract. And then they send over that signed contract to the seller to countersign because, hey, we're comfortable, we've negotiated everything, let's do the deal. Well, guess what? In New York, because the seller has never signed anything yet, it's completely non-binding. We've seen many examples of poor New York buyers who do a lot of work, get comfortable, send over the signed contract with their contract deposit, and then boom, the seller says, sorry, I decided not to sell, or you know what, sorry, I sold it to my neighbor for a higher price. What they didn't say is they shopped your offer and then sold it to their neighbor for a higher price. It's quite sad, really. So as you can see, buyers don't have as many rights in New York. They're spending money without any assurances, versus in Florida, well, the buyer is only going to spend time and money doing due diligence after they've locked in the seller. So that's basically it in a nutshell. The differences between buying in New York versus Florida, and why it's more advantageous for buyers during the offer process in Florida versus New York. If you have any questions, please drop us a line, drop a comment below. We do get back to people pretty quickly. We come out with content on a regular basis. And of course, if you're looking to make a move between either New York or Florida, we operate in both states. We recently opened up in Florida, and we cover Miami-Dade, Broward, St. Lucie, Martin, and Palm Beach counties. We can help you save up to 6% when you sell and up to 2% or more back when you buy through our buyer closing credit program. My name is Chris at Houseit, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.